All right, all right, all right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Note Night in America. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had an amazing week. We got a great topic tonight that I haven't covered in a while. And I realized this when I was looking at some stuff over the weekend. But I guarantee that you're going to get a lot out of it tonight. Whether you're active in email, you're not active, you're looking to do some stuff, I promise you that you're going to enjoy what we have to talk about tonight, what we're going through, because this is one of the most valuable tools that you can have and be using with your note or real estate marketing. I mean, we're all going to be investors for an extended period of time here, right? Everybody, we're not just doing this for 1 week or 1 month. You are really going to be a investor, and more importantly, marketing your business for an extended period of time. So tonight's topic, I encourage you to ask questions as we go through it, but keep your questions relevant and on top. There'll be plenty of time at the very end for us to dive into more specific strategies, more specific stuff about this. But make sure you take some notes. And I'll one of the things I'll do, if you aren't registered, if you're watching this live on social media, YouTube, or anything like that, make sure you register for Note Night in America by going to notenightinamerica.com. Notenightinamerica.com. That way you're on the email list. That way you're alerted of different topics. You get the replays. And I can also send you the slides if you want the slides from tonight's event. But we've been hosting Note Night in America now for over 11 years. It's become, that's a lot of consistency. It's gone by a couple different names, and sometimes it wasn't so consistent, but this marks the 11th year we've done something on Monday night on a regular basis, and we're proud of it. It's coming back again for the 12th year next year, 2023. Got a lot of great stuff, topics lined up for next year to help you make the most of your note investing career. And if you love Note Night in America or you enjoy this stuff, please do me a favor. Go out and check it out on the different podcasts that are available out there, especially anywhere you listen to podcasts. Leave a review, leave a short message. Let me know that you're listening. But we've got a variety of people who join us on Note Night in America. We have real estate investors, note investors, obviously, people looking to get into the note space, especially right now with what everything is going on in the crazy world. These are recorded. Did hit the replay button. And you can always watch the replays at WeCloseNotes.tv. That's our YouTube channel. That will not only get you YouTube replays for Note Night America, but our Note Closer Show podcast, Note Camp, a lot of great presentations and more stuff. So make sure you subscribe there to the YouTube channel at WeCloseNotes.tv. But we're honored to have you here join us again here for the 11th year. But anyway, like I said, all the video replays are out there on any podcasting platform you listen to. But tonight's topic about investor email strategies is something that I probably should have brought up early in the year. I mean, one of the things that we see with a lot of our coaching students is success of our coaching students really comes from them buying in to understanding that they've got to email their database. And if you're out there struggling as an investor, you've taken anybody's classes, and I know not every educator out there in the real estate investor world teaches you about marketing strategies. The reason I do it is it's led to my success, and I want to share my strategies with you so that you also find success. All right. I don't want you beholden to me for deals or capital. I want you going out there and hunting and fishing and attracting investors for your own deals. And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people don't share it because they're not good at it, but I'm good at it. And that's why I'm going to share it with you tonight and share it with you on a regular basis. So let me make sure I've got the chat enabled for everybody so you can ask questions here live in Zoom. As we're going live, and we are monitoring YouTube as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, leave a message or chat there. We'll be glad to follow up there as well. But anyway, investor email strategy is very important. But before we dive into some of the best practices that we do, it's important to have a feel for why email is so powerful. And so this is a question that I want to ask you guys, and I'm going to throw this out here. Let's do this poll. All right, I got 3 questions, and it should pop up for those of you that are watching live. You should see a couple questions that pop up. 3 questions. And here's a very, very simple thing. 3 questions. Do you have a CRM that you are currently using? Yes or no? And I'm not going to be surprised if it's more no than yes. Second thing, if you have a CRM, what CM are you using? Is it Keep or Infusionsoft, ClickFunnels, MailChimp? HubSpot has another Constant Contact, or maybe you're using a work provided CRM. I know a lot of realtors have a work provided CRM that they use. Here's the thing, it's great to use one, and if you have one for work, that's great, but you need to be using one for yourself, because at some point when you leave that job or leave that company, You don't want your CRM, your contacts not going with you, okay? So good to see that we've got roughly 60% of those that have answered tonight. Out of those that are live, 50% actually are using it, and the others aren't, obviously. I'll just assume that they aren't. And you're using a mixture of Keep or MailChimp, which is not a surprise, basically saying that, those are the two that we've really supported over the last couple of years. And then I always like to ask the question, how big is your email list? How big is your list, right? And it's just to get a feel, 0 to 100, 0 to 1,000 contacts, 1,000 to 2,500, 2,500 to 5,000, or 5,000 to 10, or beyond 10,000 contacts. And what we find is that the mass majority, about 50% here, have less than 1,000 contacts because you're just not used to putting one together. Okay. Anyway, you should allow you to answer if it's no. I tested it earlier, but anyway, moving on here. So that's good. Thank you guys for answering the questions there for you. I appreciate that. And not a surprise. But here's the thing I like to ask. When was the last time you actually sent something out to your database? Because this tells me right off the bat if you're successful or if you're struggling. Now, of course, you may be working full time and maybe you have just as a part time, and success is a different story. But for those out there that really want to do something full time in real estate investing, not just notes, but real estate as a whole, you've got to email out. When did you send it out to your warm database? And that should be something that's done weekly. What about an email out to bank asset managers or lead sources? If your lead source can be found like via an email list. And that should be done weekly or bi-monthly, depending on what's going on. Because if you want to get closed deals every month, you've got to be sending it out on a weekly basis to reach people. If you're trying to raise capital, have you sent an email out to your investor database? And that should be done weekly, sharing what's going on, case studies, deals, keeping them enticed to what you're doing. Okay. Email to people you met networking. I mean, you should be sending an email out to people that you meet out, at REIT clubs, meetup groups, stuff like that within 48 hours of attending. Otherwise, they're going to forget about you. Okay. You'd be surprised how few people do that. And this is the number one thing down here at the bottom. Email to people you met at an event or conference. And you should be doing that within 48 hours. And when we taught live classes, in-person classes at hotels, we would give the registration list out to everybody that attended. If you were there through Sunday, you got the registration list. And we always add an email in there so we could see who used it. And we could always tell who would be successful, because the number one thing that by success was those that sent an email out within 48 hours of attending an event. 48 hours. If you send an email, hey, it was great knowing you, that gave you a 50% chance of succeeding right there, because you were taking steps and implementing things that we taught. But you'd be surprised how few people follow up. Okay. Now, the evolution of email it's gone through some gyrations, obviously, since it got started, but it's just not a blast to everyone these days. That's what a lot of people, I'm going to blast to everyone. Well, no, you shouldn't be blasting to everyone. Okay. Email is always about growing your market. And it is a growing market in a variety of fashions for a lot of different places out there. Okay. And that's one thing that you own. One of your number one assets as a real estate investor is owning your email list. Okay. Being able to reach out to your contacts. If you're building a business like on social media, like Facebook or TikTok or anything that's social media provided, and you don't have an email list and they shut that down or your account gets banned, guess what? You don't have a business anymore. That's scary. The great thing that I know is I have my database that I will take with me. No matter what happens, no matter what CRM I use, I have it on my laptop. I have it shared. I'm constantly updating it. Okay. But email it's pretty easy to use. It's affordable when you look at compared to what most investors are spending on costs for direct mail and other bullshit things that we spend on. I mean, come on, let's face it. We spend a lot of money on other things, services, marketing, memberships, registration, things, all that kind of stuff. Email is still the most affordable way to mass communicate with your clients out there than ever before. And the most important thing is you have to talk or email like you talk. You can't, you can outsource this a little bit, but what happens is if you send an email out, you have somebody else write your emails for you, and the wording, the language, the cadence is different. Your list isn't going to believe you. So this is why the things that people ask me all the time, hey, do you do your own emails? I'm like, yeah. because I want my audience to know I'm right, my sense of humor, my mistakes, my flow of sending things out. It doesn't mean I can't improve, but I want to send it out on a regular basis. And honestly, guys and gals, shorter is better. We all hate those long form contacts, those sales pitch emails. Oh, those are horrible. You really want to keep your email short and sweet. Straight to the point, give it a point. If you got to go longer than a few lines, and I'll talk about the number of lines you should have, you should do better by including a video link or something like that if it's going to be longer than a quick read. Okay. Big mistake that we see a lot of people make is they have an email, which is info at or contact us at email address, or sales at. Those are spam traps. Spam filters out there, junk folders will recognize those info at and contact us at emails, and they'll filter it through. So your open rate, your delivery rate goes way, way down. So if you're using an info at email, kill it. Put it your first name, put your first name, last name, put something else, but put your name down there, or even your LLC at gmail.com is better than a sales at your, you get what I'm saying, your customized email. Get you a customized email. It's so much more professional than using an AOL or a Yahoo. Yes, there's some people out there still using AOL. I got an email today from somebody. All right. Let's go through some stats of why it's so valuable for emails. Personalized email messages. Personalized. That could be just with their mail, their first name and last name in there, or something that's personalized to that person's buying criteria from a survey or something like that. Have increased their, if you personalize the email, they have an improved click-through rates by an average of 14% greater and conversions by 10%. And that's by Aberdeen Marketing. That's huge, ladies and gentlemen. That's huge right off the bat. 74% of marketers say targeted personalization increases customer engagement. Yeah. One thing I see is if I don't include your first name in my email blasts, if I don't do a mail merge with your first name, my open rates go way, way down. Okay. Only 39% of online retailers send personalized product recommendations via email. This is really different. Now, we've probably all seen that with AIs and other things that you opt in, and cookies, that's enabled a lot more. But if you can personalize your database and you can niche it down or tag your audience, your contacts from where they're from or where their interests are, that's going to help you really reach out to them on a regular basis. And emails with personalized subject lines are 26% more likely to be open than it came from Campaign Monitor. And some other stats where personalized emails deliver 6 times higher transaction rates than just a generic open my email kind of thing. Segmented and targeted emails generate 58% of all revenue. Think about that. From all the companies out there, all the millions of emails that went on like Black Friday, which is the heaviest email traffic week out there. I got an email from Keep the week before, said, hey, you better get your emails uploaded and ready to rock and roll because it may not deliver immediately. It may take a while based on the amount they had uploaded. 75% of enterprises will be investing in personalized messaging for the next 5 years and finding ways to make it more personalized with your name, your buying habits, sales targeted directly to you, and what you focus on. Okay. And marketers, get this, have noted a 760% increase in revenue from segmented campaigns. That's all they need to know. And you guys, whether you're watching this tonight, you're a marketer. You're in the media business. You're in the marketing business more so than just the real estate business. Yeah, you might be in real estate, but if you're not marketing, you're not sharing your message with your audience on a regular basis, you're really not in business. Okay. And here's a great stat. You are 6 times more likely to get a click through from an email campaign that you are more than you are from a tweet. Click-through rates in email have skyrocketed because they understand now that about 60% of emails are actually being opened on mobile devices now. And it's increasing open rates in a lot faster manner than it's ever done before. Okay. Email is 40 times more effective at acquiring new customers than Facebook or Twitter. Think about that. If you're just posting to Facebook, it's probably only getting at about 5% or less of your audience. You want 40 times that, then you need to send an email out to your customer base. You need to figure a way to get your customers off of Twitter or Facebook to opt into something or to share their email with you so that you can communicate with them and connect with them later. 81% of online shoppers receive emails based on previous shopping habits, or at least somewhat likely to make a purchase as a result of targeted email. Think about that. When I get email coupons from my, the places I go, like Tommy Bahama, Academy, Under Armour, Bed Bath and Beyond. Who doesn't like those 20% coupons that come in? The big ones, 20% off something, right? Think about that. If you had a coupon for something or sharing, that's one great thing depending on what you're marketing. Now, I know most of you guys are like, well, we're not selling a product, Scott. Well, you technically are. You're selling yourself and you're selling the deals that you're potentially looking for folks to fund. Now, when it comes to purchases made as a result of receiving a marketing message, email has the highest conversion rate, 66%, when compared to social, direct mail, and more. Think about those of you guys out there that are sending direct mail out on different campaigns. You're getting like a 1 to 4% response rate, right? 66% greater, has a 66%, 62% higher than direct mail. Woo, that's a lot. It's a whole lot higher than social media too, okay? So if you're going to invest in something, invest in your email, not Facebook ads, stuff like that. Email subscribers are 3 times more likely to share your content via social media than visitors from other sources. So send, if you're posting something on social, it may make sense for you to send an email out to your database. Or one of the things I like to do, if I'm sending an email out, like for you guys for Note Night in America here, I make sure and share that via social as well the day of. Did you know that 72% people prefer to receive promotional content through email compared to 17% who prefer social media? Think about it. We probably have email addresses just to our marketing. I know I do. Including a call to action button instead of a text link can increase conversion rates by as much as 28%. What do they mean by a call to action button? Like click here to find out, or RSVP here is better than just putting a link to it. That's one thing I learned, and I've seen my conversion rates go up because we started putting the click here to watch on live. Okay, click here to RSVP on Zoom. Email marketing drives more conversions than any other marketing channel, including search and social media. If you're looking to get investors off your social, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, to start opting in, looking into it, you got to make sure you get them to start connecting on something that you can grab their email. And a message is 5 times more likely to be seen in email than via Facebook. Yeah, that's what's kind of crazy, because oftentimes Facebook will eliminate those that aren't friends and put it into, where you're not your friend. So you may not see them for days like you would with a warm market or friend. And this is a number of things. 46% of emails are open on mobile, which equals to higher and faster responses. Text message out is like an 85% response rate in like the first 20 minutes. Emails are second. Okay. Now let's talk about the ROI of email. For every dollar you spend, email has a 40 to 45%, a 40 to $45 return. That's 4,500% return on your investment. So here, average is 40, but with the real estate investing or real estate marketing, it's 45. Okay. Catalogs return about 7 times. SEO returns 22 times. Internet display ads return about 20% of the 20 times. Mobile is 10 times. Keyword ads are 17. Banner ads are lowly $2. Okay. So think about this. If you're trying to get people to respond and connect, how many investors does it take you to pay for your CRM? If you have one investor respond, one for $25,000 pays your email for the whole year, right? Based on the ROI that you'd get off of that. It doesn't take much. One deal that pays me a profit of 10 grand basically covers my email expenses for the year. And we send millions of emails year out. Some months we send hundreds of thousands. Other months we send millions of emails. It varies. Like in the summer, we send on the month that we do Note Camp, we have over 1 million emails that go out. I know, but it's an average open rate. Get this, my open rate is huge compared to most people. So I'll talk about why it's so big in a second here. But there's a variety of different of the top benefits out there. One is always, the number one is to generate more leads. That's what should be the number one thing. You're generating more leads for investors or deal flow. That's the biggest thing. Second thing is identifying better quality leads. Investors that are more likely to fund or have more funding, maybe more dollar amount, or more note sellers that actually have deals. That is tied for 17% with improved conversion rates. Okay. Shorter sales cycles came in at 1% is a top benefit. But think about this. If you're sending emails out on a regular basis, your sales cycle is actually getting reduced because people are getting to know you better. Okay. Next highest was 15% was improving sales. 13 was reduced marketing costs, which is a no-brainer. 5% was integrating with other media to boost response, like resharing your video on an email besides just YouTube will boost your views. And then it was miscellaneous things, but generating more leads, identifying better quality leads, and then improve conversion rates are the top 3 for you. And those all fall in line with everybody that's watching this right now. And here's the thing, your email open rates are going to vary across industries. And I circled basically the two. Real estate has about a 19.67% average open rate. Click rate is about 1.8%. Hard bounces are about 0.4. What's a hard bounce? It's basically where email doesn't exist anymore. It's been deleted. A soft bounce might be where the email box is full. An abuse, that's where somebody reports you for abuse and unsubscribes, is less than 0.3%. If you look at business and finance, your average open rates are a little bit higher, about 0.8 of a point higher in business and finance. The click rates are higher through business. Soft bounces are about the same. Hard bounces are a little bit higher. Abuses are actually lower in business and finance than they are in real estate. And unsubscribes are actually what is that, about 25% less too. Okay. Now my open rate, you're going to love this, is 35% on my large email list. Okay. I just did a search on this just a few minutes ago. And I'll average anywhere from like 19 to 46, actually had up to high as 86% in a couple email blasts that we sent out to a larger list. By larger list, I mean a list of like 5,000 or greater. Okay. But we average over 35% on average on our major list, whether I'm sending over 5,000 emails or up to 60,000 emails in our bigger list. It's a 35% open rate. Think about that. Now, our unsubscribe rate and abuse rate is very, very small. Our abuse rate is normal, 0.01%. If I send out 60,000 emails, I'll have about 100, 180s, maybe sometimes 200 of a hard bounce, as emails change all the time for people. This is why you have to market on a regular basis, okay? Because emails are constantly going to change. If you have one list and you just work that list, eventually at some point, 90% of that list is going to unsubscribe or the emails are going to change. Now, let's talk about some tips for improving your stats, okay? When it comes to your subject lines, being straightforward works best. Just, so tell them what you're going to talk about. Don't sell what's inside. Hey, top 5 tips for email marketing, or top 5 ways to improve your note deals, whatever, something like that. If you want people to open your emails, you have to get past their spam filters first. And the best way to avoid spam filters is to learn how they work, okay? Spam filters are constantly changing a little bit. This is why it helps to personalize and then also use a CRM that will tell you, hey, your email looks like spam. Your topic looks like spam, or some of the spam filters looks like it's a pitched thing. So don't do that. Too many hard bounces is a sign of an old stale list. Some people, if you upload an old list that you haven't emailed in a while, you'll have a huge bounce rate or hard bounce rate. And that will literally can get you shut down if you're using a new CRM. So at least once a quarter, make sure you go through and get rid of your unsubscribes, your hard bounces, so that your list stays fresh and up to date. Before you delete them, maybe you want to download them. I really don't download them. I keep my folks fresh and so clean. Anybody that's unsubscribed, hard bounce, every month I'm getting rid of those because I don't want to be tagged. Your CRM is going to basically charge you a lot of times by the number of contacts you have. So if I have contacts on there that have bounce or bad emails, I don't want them in there, clogging up or getting me charged more or going towards my contact limits. Okay. Hard bounces mean an email address has failed. Maybe it no longer exists, or maybe someone made a typo when they subscribed to a list. So look at your hard bounces. Make sure that the email is spelled correctly. Make sure it doesn't have something missing like a gmail.co versus a gmail.com. Because oftentimes, sometimes you can fix those hard bounces by just going in and saying, I transcribed, it says GAIML versus Gmail. Sometimes we type faster or think faster than we type. Soft bounces usually mean the recipient is temporarily unavailable. It means they're on vacation or their mailbox is full most of the time. Or maybe their email storage has increased. I've had that happen a few times. I forgot to put a credit down for Google or Gmail or Outlook to increase their storage, and I had to go back in and expand it or go through and get rid of a lot of older emails. Okay. Now, the question comes to is how are you building your lists? Okay. And the reason I bring this up is if you upload an old list or you're starting to start up a new list, your CRM will maybe ask you how you get people on your list, especially if you upload a list. And it's important to know how they got in your list. Okay. Now, networking where you're going to a RIA meeting, meetups, BNI group, stuff like that, great, you got a business card. That's pretty easy to do. You might even put in the, when you're uploading a list, you might include a list in there, how you contact them, and put how they got tagged in your system. Or like when I go to a BNI group, I always put BNI group as a tag. So I know to send an email out to the BNI networking members, I just send it to BNI, not everybody else out there. Conferences, as you're going out and getting business cards or vendors and stuff like that's important to put your contacts into a database, especially if you're attending to something right now. Like if you go to a conference, you should be taking all the contacts you get and put them in a database. Somebody downstairs hearing me say that? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Websites, opt-ins are great. If you go to Note Camp or Note Weekend or the Virtual Note Buying Workshop main websites and you click the opt-in there, I'm going to ask you for your email and first name usually first. So at least I'm going to grab your information. Even if you don't sign up, I grabbed your information and you were opt-in. I also have a different system for those websites that if you don't opt into something, it tags your IP address and goes out and finds an email associated with your IP address. Sneaky. This is important to know how people are opting in. This is why for the 670 people that have RSVP'd for Note Night in America throughout the year, they're tagged in my system. They have a tag Note Night in America. Calendly, my booking calendar, I export that list. It's important to talk with people who book, come across my links on YouTube and other places. I add them to my database because I'll export my Calendly contacts once a month too. If you ever use like text messaging opt-ins, this is a great thing too. What I love about Keep is they have the different text messaging service, and you can also have people opt in. You might do a list swap. You got to be very careful about doing a list swap. This happens a lot with marketers. Hey, I got a database of 40,000. You have a database of 40,000. Very similar audiences. Why don't we swap lists and now our database is 80,000? I don't necessarily like to do that because I worked very hard for my list. I've only done this a couple times, and it's got to be with a vendor who has a very, 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 very similar list and contact list like I do. I don't do it for everybody. I've actually turned down a lot of people because it just doesn't make sense. I don't want to spam my people to death. Paid email lists, you can buy lists from like Melissa Data, Exact Data. We've done this for some IRA investors. We've done this for some B2B stuff in the past. We've done this when we were putting on a pet summit for staff. We purchased a list of pet lovers here in Austin, 15,000 names, addresses, and email addresses and contact information, and that worked to help promote the event. Newsletters opt-in, whether you're using, if you got a newsletter opt-in is a great thing. Social media posts where you post something and get people to opt in. Like I use, my posting on social media today about Note Night in America. Well, that's to grab people to opt in. Even if they don't show up for the webinar, I'll still send them the replay, but it's an opt-in and it's a valuable list. If any CRM ever asks you, how do you get this person opt in? I can say, hey, they opted into a webinar on Zoom, or they opted in to one of my websites, okay? Now, some best practices. These are things to make note of. It's very important. These are best practices that we have seen work well for us and also work well for others out there as well. When you get a business card from somebody, send a hello email reintroducing yourself after the event. And it doesn't have to be through like Keep or anything else. Just send an email. Hey, it was nice meeting you this weekend at PopCatch, or it was nice meeting you at the Mastermind event, or it was nice meeting you at the BNI group. I have an email already written in my Keep account. That's my hello email. Hey, it was great meeting you. And all I got to change is 2 little things. And it's just basically a little bit about what I do. Once again, I'm the reminder, put my smile and face in there. Here's what I do. Here's what I talk about. Now, you always want to personalize the title with a merge field. And the title by merge field is like you want to insert, like if I'm sending an email out to the folks that are on here, I want to make sure, like if it goes out to Michelle Hill, I want to say, hey, Michelle, join me tonight for my email best practices. That will get a higher open rate if it just says, hey, join me for best email practices. Just does. Personalize it. This is why if you're uploading a list or taking a contact list, you want to separate first name, last name, and then put, of course, their emails next, their cell phone number is the number 4th field, and then their address is 5, 6, or 7, and then how you connect with them is 8 or 9, okay? But personalize the title with merge fields. It's a really easy thing to do with a CRM, okay? And this should be like the number 1 thing that you're doing with your groups. Niche down your lists. Don't send an email to send all, okay? That's not a good thing. Now, yes, you can have some large lists. Like I've got a list, ones that's 45,000. It's note investors. I have another one that's 25,000. That's my warm contacts. I have another list of 15,000, which is my contacts for 2023. So, and depending on that, I'll have smaller lists like for those that attend to the mastermind or people that I met at a conference. I have my smaller lists and I send to those smaller lists like 2 or 3 times, and then I put those people into my larger list. You want to keep your email short. This is important. Keep your title short, but really your longer emails, you want to keep them to 20 lines of text or less. If you've got to go longer and you feel like you're going to throw up, then you know what you do? Keep it to 4 or 5 lines of text and insert a video. Okay. If you want to see how a good email should look like, do yourself a favor, go over to like ESPN.com or your favorite online media page and look how they structure. They usually put a video at top, right? Video on the top, an email or a title, and then they'll put, 5 to 20 lines of text and before they put any more links in there. And they're usually only putting 1 link in there as well for you. So that's the important thing. That's your one call to action. And it's better to put a button in there than an actual like a text link. All right. But don't confuse people by putting 30 different opt-ins. That's okay if it's the same button for the same thing, like you've seen an email opt-in here, RSVP or spot here. Put those in there, click here to RSVP, and you really need to dumb it down because some people are stupid. All right. I click here to watch the replay. Even though I embed the video in my emails I follow up, I still put click here to watch. But one call to action is about all you can do. Here's the thing, guys. You need to be sending an email weekly out to your database at a minimum. Some people that send, actually the lowest opt-out rate is those that send an email out daily. I think that's too much. We don't have time to send a daily video out. But you can send an email out once a week. And everybody, you've got time. You've got 30 minutes a week to send out an update or a week in review or case study or something like that. It helps your email stay fresh. It also helps your engagement rate to stay high. If you don't send emails for a month or 2 months or 3 months, guess what? When you send an email again, you're going to have a much lower open rate. And if you're looking to build up to something like raising capital or have them send you deals or get on their list or something like that, it's going to take building that rapport all over again. And if they're not checking, you only send 1 email and don't do any follow up there, they may have lost them totally. But like I said, structure your email like a website. If you got a video, put a video. If you don't have a video, put your logo, title, 5 to 20 lines of text, and then 1 call to action. Okay. But keep your emails valuable. Don't spam list with crap. I'm sorry, realtors, but whoever taught realtors to send out all these menus or these things each month, oh, I hate those. That don't add value to what I'm doing. Yes, it might give you your touch each week, but what's valuable to your list? And you all should know your list. Okay, what's valuable to investors? Case studies, raising capital, finding deals, right? And a little bit of marketing. That's the 4 base nuggets. I guess you say the 4 stools of the table when it comes to us marketing. Case studies, raising capital, marketing, and deals. And we'll throw an event in there every once in a while. We'll talk about that in a second, okay? But hook them. Here's the thing. You want to get people to open your emails, you got to have a good title. You got to hook them with that title. Now, you got to keep the title short, but keep it interesting. And think about what would you click on or open? What are some titles that you like? Oh, I like that. I'm going to click on that. What does he talk about? And think about this. And then save them. Save them, tag them, save them in a file folder for emails that do really well. And I went back through a lot of our emails, and some of the best ones I've sent, like how I turned $10 into 40K in profits. It's a little longer, or it would be better how I turned 10K into 40K. That was a good email. That was a good blog article we did. Okay. How I achieved an 88% ROI in 2 weeks. I know deal in 2 weeks. That's a little longer title, but how I achieved an 88%, or how I got, would be better than achieved. Keep your titles short. Okay, you got to realize if it gets too long, they won't be able to see the full title in their email when they're reading on their mobiles. Okay. Here's a great one that we did for. It was kind of the base model for when we sent out our niche emails when we did our Note Nation Top 40 tour. What every investor in Houston needs to know. What every investor in Seattle needs to know. What every investor in Austin needs to know. We experimented, did a lot of A/B testing, and we finally found a title that worked really, really well, got a higher open rate, and we stuck with it. Okay, play around with it. Use pop culture to get people engaged. This is important. This has been one of the, I think, the biggest keys to our success as a marketing. Besides some of the images, but not everybody sees an image when they open an email or check in their email. So you want to make sure and try to do some sort of things. So like tune in for the Note Civil War. We did that around when the Marvel Civil War came out, or we did when the 50 Shades of Gray was coming out, the 50 Shades of Notes. I know some of you are still laughing about that, okay? Or I sent this email, I use this like once a year, get some ass this weekend, get some assist, strategize, and support. I got that from Vegas, okay? Some people like it, some people don't, and that's okay. If people opt out, that's fine, let them opt out, okay? Save the titles of emails you find interesting. As I mentioned before, save the titles of those that you click on. Oh yeah, the bond one. You recreate. So Michelle liked the bond one. You know, what was it? No time to live, no time to invest. And I actually took the image where I put my face. I just took a picture of me in a tuxedo, looked like I was Bond with a gun there. You know, recreate it, but you didn't use it. Here's the thing: if you're going to take the time to recreate it, use it, please. And I have a habit. I come up with ideas like, oh, I need to use that. Like there was one I was using around when the Batman movie came out. You know, I created the image instead of the Batman. I said the Note Man. Okay. Or somebody did when Ant-Man came out. I think Jonathan Burton or somebody else, and they put the Note Man. You know, and an image of that works well. You know, Deadpool. I said Note Pool. You know, Ballers. When what was a series on HBO? I put my head on top of the Rock's body. Yeah. Strip down marketing. I put my head on a body of a Chippendales. You know, the idea here is to get people to laugh, get them hooked so that they open your email. Okay. And that's what I mean, guys, is this is not meant to be difficult. If you can't think of something, then go use answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com, type in a question or what you're trying to see, and they will give you a variety of questions that will draw well for you. So answerthepublic.com, it's free. You can actually do 2 questions a day on there. And that helps me when I need to come up with titles or episodes or podcasts or things like that. Okay. Other best practices: resend your email to your unopened list 48 hours of your first email. So like one of the things that I do is when I send an email out, like I'll give you an example. I'll send an email out tomorrow with a replay to my large, warm Note Investor database. And then Thursday, I'll go in, see who didn't open the emails out of that big list, and I'll send the same email. I'll resend it to those that didn't open it a second time. And that gets another 10 to 15% open and click-through rates. So it's a great thing. You gotta realize not everybody is sitting awake or at 2 o'clock in the morning. You shouldn't be sending an email at 2 o'clock in the morning, but sitting there on a Tuesday or Wednesday waiting for me to email. Now, some people do, but most people, when you're sending out stuff, give them a chance. They maybe have gotten your email may have gotten buried down, or maybe it's in a spam folder and you got to send it a second time for maybe them to take a look at it. Like I said, clean your email list, get rid of the bounce, the bad, the unsubscribes, the unmarketable ones. When uploading new lists, especially if it's an older list that you have, it's really important you scrub that list. Now, how do you scrub it to avoid you getting your CRM shut down? Go to zerobounce.com. You can upload your list, and it's like for $29 or $39 for 5,000 credits. They'll scrub your list and tell you what are good emails, what are bad, what are spam traps. So like I uploaded a list of 1,400 IRA investors that I attended with some cruises and stuff like that. And it came back that only 979 were good, which is fine. I'll take the 979 instead of uploading 400 contacts that get my email shut down. So zerobounce.com, really, really important if you got an old list. And we bought a lot of IRA leads 2 years ago. When I've been going back through and scrubbing those lists through ZeroBounce to see which are still active and reusing them. When you upload a list, tag that list. Tag it as Note Investors. Tag it as Note Night in America. Tag it as your people you met at your PTA meeting or a conference or people you met at the bar, whatever it is, okay? Tag them so that you can niche down your list with interests, okay? I like to have 3 base emails, like a 3 email funnel to new contacts. Now, if they're just warm contacts or friends and they're not real estate investors or not anything like that, I don't do this. I'll add them to my list, but I just put them as friends, and I never send an email all. But I'll tag email, like the first one is, hey, let me just share this with you. Hello, this is me. It was great meeting you at BNI. It was great meeting you at IMN, whatever it might be. Or, hey, thanks for opting into the website. Thanks for opting in, checking out some more information on Note Weekend. Whatever the opt-in is, or if it's in person or an opt-in, I make sure the hello email goes out within 24 hours. Usually the day I meet them. I prefer the day I meet them. Okay. If not, it's got to be the day after within 48 hours. Okay. Or if it's like on a Saturday, I'd send it on a Monday. Okay, especially if they're traveling, if it's a day of travel the next day. Okay. Second thing, I'm going to send an email to them. Say, hey, you might find this interesting, or didn't know. If you're interested in, if you listen to podcasts, you might find this valuable. Or if you're interested in real estate investing, I have a webinar every Monday night. Figure something out that's, or just ask them, hey, what are you interested in? If you're interested, thought you might be interested in this, A, B, or C. Okay. And then here are some options. Hey, if you're interested, maybe you want to subscribe to my newsletter. Okay. Or follow me on YouTube. Or worst case is connect with me on social media. Okay. That's something that everybody can do. And put in your links to wherever they're at. And like Keep and these, MailChimp and them, they'll often have customized links or things that you can import in that make it look really nice, so you don't have to make it difficult for your social. Okay. Or check out my website, or get on my newsletter, or get on my hot list. If you're an investor looking for deals, get on my hot list. That's always a good one. Or if you're an investor look for my cool returns, click there. That's one thing that we've done with our coaching students in the past, is say, hey, get on your hot list, your hot buyers list, or your cool returns list. And we literally made it very simple. Is they went over to Canva and they created a money, but it was in like ice cold blue. It said cool deal or cool returns. And then the hot list was a picture of a house in red with flames coming out of the back, and said hot deals. So those could be things. Hey, get on my hot deal list or my cool investor list. If you're an investor, click on the cool. If you're looking for deals, click here, or join both to opt into both. Okay. So here's what I do. I forgot to do this one. Here's what I do. So we use a great service called Retentioncom to grab looky-loos on our website. So every website we have, anybody that goes to it but doesn't opt into something, we're able to capture their IP address and then find an email address that goes out and matches to it. And then guess what? They get a hello email. Hey, thanks for stopping by Note Weekend, or thanks for stopping by my website, or thanks for checking out the podcast in this episode. And I tag them podcast or Note Weekend or Note Investors or Retention.com. We tag them in that. I then send a follow-up email to them in 48 hours if they didn't click on it. They didn't open, they automatically get a reminder email to, hey, you just want to follow back up with you. Okay. And like I said, I invite them to listen to something. Maybe it's to subscribe something. You guys could have them, like I said, opt into something. Okay. One of the things that we did that was really, really valuable, and we've done this for the last 6 years, is when we have Note Camp, we ask people to fill out a survey. And they tell us what their biggest needs or strengths, weaknesses, what they're looking for, what their focus is, and that helps us tag a tremendous amount of people in our database and know that they're interested. So we can customize that when we have something to send to them that's customized. But if they don't open an email in 90 days, okay, if they get added to a list or they don't open an email, then what we do is we export that list and we save it on the side in 6 months. But if they don't open an email in 90 days, they get tagged in long-term nurture. So they're not going into my general email campaigns that go out weekly. They go into my once a quarter email, like, hey, just wanted to follow back up with you. Have you changed your mind? Are you still looking to invest? If so, yes, check this out. If not, no biggie. Feel free to unsubscribe. Okay. But if they don't click, and I can go in my CRM and see who's open emails. If they didn't open an email, and if they don't even open a single email in 90 days, I'm going to remove them. I'm going to get rid of them for the most part. Okay. Now, some titles that will get investors to open. Now, think about this. What got you to open emails from other people? Anybody want to share one? What's going to attract investors to open your emails? Now, investors are attracted by a thing. So, like, great one we did, a Texas note deal at 50% of fair market value. Now, there's a couple buttons in there. 50% of fair market value is great, or 50% below, 50% discount. Texas is a hot one because a lot of people like to invest in Texas. So those are some numbers. Those are keyword terms that gets people excited about. Okay. Earn above average returns on your got any lazy assets. That's kind of gets people thinking. Check out the deal of the day or the deal of the day. This is something that I tell people all the time. There's plenty of ways for you to put a deal of the day, whether it's a hot deal you're working on or a deal you've done in the past. This is gold right here that most people, 99.9% of people never do. And it's one of the easiest deal things to do. The only person I've seen that has done this real well was actually Val Satir when he launched Watermark Exchange. It was one of the things we worked with him on. Say, hey, you got to have a note deal of the day. You've got hundreds of deals on here. Just pick one and send it out with a good photo, some numbers about it, and send it out. The different exchanges or the different note sellers, if they did this, they would get so many more people to opt in and take a look at it. Sells so many more assets. Okay. Put your IRA to work. Okay. Inflation scaring you? Click here to find out. Or how we made blank percent on this deal. The secret to finding note deals. Anytime you put a secret or top tips, that does really well as well. And like I said, if you do the top 5, 7, 9, and if it's an odd number of tips, ways, or secrets to getting rich faster, or if you can offer a shortcut or a secret sauce, people will click on that. Okay. Like I know, and I said this before, people will click on raising capital, finding note deals, or due diligence, and marketing. Those are the 4 things that we see opt-in. We have the higher opt-ins, higher engagement rate, higher viewership rates, not just on emails, but click-through rates and stuff like that. Okay. But case studies, private money, past, present, and mistakes also draw views. My biggest mistakes as a note investor. Hey, check out this deal that we bombed, this deal that turned into a dud. The dud of the day, the deal or dud of the day. Woo, I think I might use that next year. Deal or dud of the day. All right. And then, like I said, if you have a shorter subject line where people can read it, you'll have higher open rates. So shorten your words down. Keep it simple. Don't use long $25 words. Use short 4th, 5th grade words that everybody understands what they mean. Okay. And what also has boosted open rates too is if you're using emojis, pictures of houses, pictures of dollar bills. Emojis, having a few emojis actually works to help drive that as well. Not every CRM has that capability, but most of them are all adding that to it. So if you can add some emojis, I know I probably need to add more of that to mine, because I was surprised last year when I learned about that. And then the few times I've used it in some different things, they've worked in well. Okay. Now, some of your customer relationship management software is like best practices for like Key or MailChimp. It's like we talked about to scrub your old lists. If you have bad emails or a high bounce rate and you're sending an email out for the first time and you get a huge bounce rate, they will shut you down. They'll like slap you on the wrist and close down your account. Okay. If you're uploading older lists, a trick to kind of help you is to upload a smaller list. Don't take in 5,000 contacts and upload them at a time. Upload 100, 250, or 500 at a time. Okay. 100, send an email. A new 100, send an email. Now that you've got those, you've sent one email to both those, then you can send them an email to all 200 of them later on. But most of the time, upload, because if you have a bad email list, a bad 100 that's got a higher unsubscribe rate, and they want you to remove that list, it's better to lose 100 than 500. Okay. Start emailing now. Just like we need notes to be seasoned. If it's an owner finance, you got to have 12 months of seasoning. Your CRM needs to be seasoned, especially when you get around to using. Oh, I need capital. I need money. I laughed. I got an email from a note investor out of Dallas, and she sent an email. Hey, I need 175 grand. She's a note investor. And I just laughed. I was like, this is the first email I looked back. This is the first email I've gotten her in over a year. And suddenly she wants somebody to invest 175 grand with her. I'm like, that's not smart. You're smarter than this. She should have been emailing the entire time. And I actually reached out to her and she's like, yeah, I'm not having a really good results with that. I'm like, that's probably because your email list doesn't know you exist because you haven't emailed them. Email is the #1 tool, guys and gals. If you don't use anything else, use email. All right. The best time to email people is Tuesday AM. Tuesday AM, followed by Wednesday AM, and then Thursday. Monday's the worst day to email because they're all bogged down back to work. Friday after 3 o'clock is a horrible time to do as well because people are already taking off for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday are lower open rates, but I find Sunday night works well for me. If I send an email out at 6 to 7 p.m. on Sunday night, advertising something on Monday, advertising this call, it's always a high open rate with my lists. Okay. Here's another thing. Do not create a press release and send a press release out. That's the worst thing you can do. Press releases are dead. Stop sending them out. Nobody wants to read an article about your business. Just send a quick email. Hey, just want to let you know about something new going on, or update, or breaking news. Don't send a press release. Don't copy a press release and send it out. It's a waste of time. And that doesn't come from me. That comes from the media. Okay. Don't send a press release out if you're trying to get, especially if you have built a list of media professionals in your area, which is something you probably should do. Hint, hint, wink, wink. One of the things that we've done that's helped us get publicity for free is find out who is the real estate person at the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Inc.com, who's also in charge of like business and real estate here at the local media outlets too, the newspapers and stuff like that. And if we come up with an idea, we send it out to all of them. And hey, we got a story or a deal you might find interesting, and it's led to us getting some pretty cool free media. Would you guys like for me to have somebody on, maybe on a Monday night, to help you with media for the new year? You know, some of you guys might be interested in that, some of you might not be. Okay. But anyway, another thing is breaking news, urgent, reminder, 1 hour before or live. If you put that at the beginning of your email, that works better. Like our 1 hour reminder, I send it out and we see more clicks through. People like, oh yeah, I need a reminder. I get more click-throughs come from the 1 hour reminder. Or live now, when we do a live video or live session, that works really, really well and has boosted our YouTube channel by just simply sharing that. And using our email has boosted our podcast. Anytime I send an email about new episodes, it boosts our podcast downloads, it boosts our opt-ins, it boosts investors out there talking about investing. Some more best practices for you guys. Don't send emails on Fridays after 3 p.m. It's happy hour. They're not reading their email. They're busy looking at the olive in the bottom of their martini or looking for the weekend. And if you talk to somebody after 3 o'clock on Friday, expect to email them on Tuesday, remind them, because they're going to forget about it because the weekend's a long time. Okay. If you have an event, something that you are planning towards, a webinar, an event you're posting or hosting, whether it's in real estate or whatever, you got to send at least a weekly email out a month out, if not preferably 2 months out. Start sharing and sharing the news. But then the week of the event, send daily emails a week out from the event. And you need to pre-write these. These can't be the same things. All right, you got to tweak it up a little bit. And you know, you guys all can come up with 5 to 7 bullet points that could be great articles or great emails that are different, with 7 bullet points or 7 reasons why they want to attend the event. Okay. Here's another thing: you get an email response back, respond to questions. This is such a valuable thing. I get people all the time that are so surprised that I answer my emails. It's not an autoresponder. I answer my emails or comments, stuff like that. I look at that stuff. I take the time every day to look at comments and questions and make sure that I'm responding to people. In your email signature, this is a great thing. At the bottom, put a place for people to connect with you. If it's through Keep or it's a general email going out, put, hey, contact with me here. Book a call with me. But also put your contact information on there, okay? Your phone, your email address. You'd be surprised how many emails I get from people where there's no contact information. There's no phone number, no email, and it drives me bonkers, okay? And then also, too, if you have a new client and you're talking to a new client, make sure you have them go check the spam or junk folder and add to a safe list. This is why it's important to have a text message or their cell phone number. If you're sending something out, you want to say, hey, just sent you the email. Make sure if you don't see it, you check your spam, okay? And like I said, send your email from your name at company, not info at or sales. This is so important. And I still see people screwing this up. Don't do info at. It's the worst thing you can do. It will completely kill your open rates. Okay. And another thing, if you're going to send a blast out to your email and you have some following, your social media matches up with your email list, go ahead and copy the wording, the link, the images, and post that to social media with a link for people to opt into. It's so important, because not everybody is going to be checking email. Not everybody is going to be just on LinkedIn. Not everybody's going to be just on Facebook. So this is why you'll see when we send an email out for Note Night in America, we post the same content across all of our other social media, okay? And here's another thing. You can try to do this cheap by using like a MailChimp version, which gives you 2,000 contacts for free. You're not going to have all the tools. Or like somebody was using HubSpot recently, and it shut down on them. And they had an email blast that went out and had high unsubscribed. And for them now to access their email, they've got to opt in to a more expensive version, so they actually have access to customer service. Not all free is considered is considered beneficial. You get what you pay for. All right. If you want customer service, pay the $49 or $99 a month with the Keep. I mean, I got a special discount for anybody with Keep.com that just is awesome. Now, if you're using a CRM that you've been using for a while and you're happy with it, great, keep using it. As long as it's still going to be around, even if you change jobs or positions or stuff like that. Your email is one of the few things that you have, as I mentioned before, is your client list. You can take that anywhere you're with you, okay? Now, one question, I want to throw this in here as a great way for when you're talking to investors, how to get investors interested, is you got to share with them. The biggest mistake that I said this investor made in Dallas is that they just suddenly pitched me. They pitch slapped me when I've never received an email from them in the last year, which is a no-no. You don't pitch slap somebody. You have this all happening on LinkedIn too. Like somebody asks you to be your friend and they suddenly pitch you. Okay. Each month is a holiday. There's 4 weeks roughly in every month. So you need to send a weekly email. And guess what? One of those weeks is the happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You're lucky in a 5-month week or 5-week month, you got two holidays you can talk about. Okay, but invite them if you're if you have a networking group or you have a list that's really Uber centric to your city, invite them to your networking event. Okay, your RIA meeting. Hey, if you're an investor, check out this RIA that I'm going to. Or if it's not local, it's something you're going to nationwide, then send an email afterwards talking about the top bullet points you learned from the event. Okay. Hey, I went to IMN in Boca Raton, Florida, and stayed at this nice resort, and these are the top things. Like I went to FinCon, 2 months ago. So what did I do? I couldn't invite everybody to FinCon because it was in Orlando, and my audience is all across the country. So what I did a best of FinCon. What did I learn? And that was a really high open email. Best things I learned from FinCon. You could also share a case study. All of you have past or present case studies or deals you're working on. That's slam dunk to get a high open rate and get people to ask and pay attention to. Now, people aren't going to respond, but the reason you start sharing what you're working on and sharing these things is so it builds a rapport. So that when you do need to ask for a question, they're already willing to give you the benefit of doubt for the ask because you've provided some quality stuff. You've wished them well. Okay. Share a fun hobby, a trip, something personal. Larry Hoffman does a great job sharing an email to his database about what he did the past weekend or fun things and not just deals that he's working on, but also hikes and trips and guitars. So share your hobby. If you enjoy four-wheeling in Jeeps, great. If you enjoy music, if you enjoy hiking, whatever it might be, you enjoy stamps, baseball cards, whatever the hell it is. A lot of people have different interests. You enjoy Comic-Con. Okay, you dressed up as the Riddler. Okay, share that. People will find it humorous and in a good way. Okay, the best. If you want a book on kind of the marketing side of that conversation, Gary Vaynerchuk wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, which talks about the social journey, and it's very similar in email. Share, talk a little about what you got going on, give. And by giving, you share articles, invites to things, valuable content, news articles. You could create a whole weekly letter on just different articles on real estate out there, your favorite article of the week, and then you ask. You've got to realize you've got to do this. Keep it short. Don't throw up on them. When you start getting beyond 20 lines of text, you're starting to throw up on them. Don't do that. Don't try to teach them everything about note investing in email. Talk with them, encourage them to give you a phone call or schedule a call to talk more about. Just, it's kind of like what our English teachers, five small paragraphs, intro and an outro, and then 3 small things, which is 1 bullet point and a couple lines about what you're working on. Okay, or bullet points work well. Remember, if you don't share what you are working on or doing, how will your audience actually know how to work, invest, or follow you? They're not. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to search for others that are going to deliver what they're looking for. Okay, and that's the consistency. Consistency is the key to building a plugged in and engaged following. If you're sending an email and you get an 8% open rate, hey, 8% is better than nothing. But continue for a couple of weeks to email to everybody, and you'll see that they grow to 10 or 12 or 15. The smaller your list is, it's probably the warmer that list is. You're going to have a higher open rate. But the bigger your list is, it's going to slow down. So don't get discouraged if you have a 20% open rate. That's pretty normal. First email you send out, it's an 8%. Guess what? It's the first email you send out. It's not trash. It's something better as nothing. Okay. And like I said, if you don't share, your audience will get their information from somewhere else. So it might as well be you that's sharing what's got going on. And you are literally 6 emails from raising a chunk of private capital. It could be in 6 weeks with an email once a week. It can be in 6 months, which will take freaking forever, or 6 years and it'll never happen. So everybody that's on here and that's watching you, I challenge you over the next 6 weeks. That will take us through the middle of January, roughly. Share something weekly. You got 30% of it with happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. What's your goals for the year? What are your assignments are you doing? Hey, are you local networking? Or hey, it's the 4th quarter. Oh my gosh, have you been naughty or nice? Is Santa going to leave you a lump of coal? Okay, the stockings were hung. If you are stumped on what to say, ask. Or worst case, go look at some frequently asked questions and contour your message about a frequently asked question that people ask. Or like I said, go to Answer the Public. Okay. And that's my best practices, guys. Every CRM is a little bit different. I set some stuff up. I'm a big fan of keep.com. I've got a special discount if you don't have a CRM, please reach out to me. I'll put the link in the description on the YouTube replay and stuff like that and send it out. But if you're looking for a CRM too, Keep's really good. I think they'll start you off at 2,500 contacts, no sign up fee. It's $49 a month for the first 3 months, and then it's $99 after that. That's cheap. Plus, they give you all this coaching, this onboarding coaching calls, and they're doing events every week to help you make the most of your CRM. So check it out. And if you have questions, drop me an email. I'll be glad to make an introduction to my sales rep over there who can help you out. Yeah, do I get a bit of a referral code? Yeah, sure. But I'm a happy Keep client. I've used them for years. Tried other things, and I've come back to Keep and absolutely love what they do. So any other questions, comments, concerns from you guys that are joining us here live, whether it's here live on Zoom or live on YouTube? I am here to help answer your questions for you, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody have a nugget that they took from tonight's episode, what they found valuable, found interesting? Maybe besides recreating something to actually use it. If you're going to take the time to create an image, go ahead and use it. Get the email out. Take the time. Take the 20, 30 minutes. A shorter email is better than nothing. One email that I send out to my email database every year, and you've probably gotten if you're on here, is what can we do better? How are we doing? What can we do better? How can I make this better for you? I don't send it. It's very low. It's just a text email. It's just a simple, hey, how are we doing? No logo, nothing. How are we doing? What can we do better? And you'd be surprised at the feedback I get. I really appreciate that feedback because it goes into honing on specific areas or finding topics that I can help answer for folks. So I appreciate every one of you on here. Zero Bounce is zerobounce.com. It's a huge asset too. Yeah, Philip says that's a great tool. It is a great tool. Use it, especially if you're using lists or buying lists. It's important to run them through a screener as well. And actually, I got that from because I screwed up. I uploaded an old list and Keep shut down my account. Wouldn't let me email for a couple of days, and I had to get on a call with him and I had to go to the principal's office. And they're like, "Where'd you get this list?" I said, "They've had it." And they're like, "Well, use Zero Bounce to scrub it next time. If you use it through Zero Bounce, we'll open it back up." I was like, "Done." Okay. Michelle says, "Too many nuggets to mention just one. Putting an action plan together. Thank you for so much value as always." Anytime, Michelle. You guys, you and Rick and the family have a very happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We have one more Note Night in America for the year. That will be next week. After that, we'll be off till the first Monday in January, as long as it's not New Year's. So join us. Not sure what I'm going to talk about next week, but I know it'll be something fun and probably get you to laugh. Maybe the 12 days of Note Miss. Who knows? But thank you for being on here. Guys, I really appreciate everybody that joins us live, who watches the replays, who listens to the replays. Whether I have one person or 1,000 people on here, this is my plug-in with you guys every week, and it helps me. Maybe it helps you, but it also helps me to get comments, questions, seeing who's on there, seeing who's plugging in, and it just helps me in so many different ways. So I hope it helps you. And if you'd like to see a topic covered in the new year, please let me know. I'll be glad to cover it for you. If you'd like us to talk about something, more role playing or more case studies, we've got that on the lineup, but would love if you got a case study you'd like to talk about and share on a Monday night. Hey, I'd love to interview you here Monday night to talk about a deal you're working through. So go out, take some action, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all at the top.